Antinous. Behind me we have a cast of the top section of a colossal statue that is currently in the Vatican Museums in Rome. Now, because we've only got the top section, you're actually getting a view that's a little bit disingenuous, because it enables me to get up close and personal with its subject, a bit like in a perfume ad, whereas actually the original is over 3 meters tall, so would be staring down at me and making me feel really rather small and intimidated. The only kind of people that had statues that big in antiquity were members of the imperial family and gods. And what's happened here, by actually turning this into a tabletop piece, we've turned a god into a Roman portrait. So who's it a portrait of? Well, his name is Antinous, and Antinous was born in Bithynia in Asia Minor, modern Turkey. And his only claim to fame, really, is that he slept with a Roman emperor, and then in mysterious circumstances fell into the River Nile in 130 AD. But what's extraordinary is what happens after he dies. Because within minutes almost, cities around the empire are minting coins in his honour. Statues, a bit like this one, are being put up both by the emperor and by local communities. Even a city is founded after his name on the banks of the River Nile. Never had an emperor grieved so much. Right, this is Hadrian we're talking about here, the Roman emperor that is renowned for being, educated, sophisticated. And here he is bereft because of the death of his young lover. But it isn't just that Hadrian mourns so much. Never have the people mourned so much. In some senses, I think, the people found in Antinous a friendly face of imperial power. It's as though when you look at him, you're kind of getting a sense, well, maybe this could be you. Maybe the next emperor will find you as attractive as this and you'll wind up in the imperial entourage. If you don't think like that, then maybe instead you think that you're getting a privileged peek at what it is that makes Hadrian tick, that turns Hadrian on. Hadrian was an emperor that in the east of the empire was usually commemorated in military dress. This is giving you a much kinder, more intimate emperor to engage with. It's hardly surprising that Antinous and his portraits became one of the most sort of expensive and important collector's items post-Renaissance, especially in the 18th century and beyond. And into the 19th century, Antinous became a figure that enabled gay men and women to really kind of think about and celebrate their sexuality in a world which really meant that that was impossible publicly. More statues of him have been identified than anyone from antiquity except Hadrian Augustus, another emperor. It's absolutely extraordinary in some ways for this kind of, modest but stunningly beautiful guy. He's a bit like a Ken doll. You can dress him up however you like, and sometimes he appears as Apollo. Here he appears as Dionysus, a god of death, of sex, of ecstasy. We know that because he's got these wonderful ivy wreath in his hair and little kind of berries. Stuff on top of his head, the pine cone, is probably late 18th century or 19th century restoration, so we don't worry about that. But actually, I think when we look at this, it puts Hollywood's icons in the shade. This really is a sex god. I did a show at the Henry Moore Institute a few years ago where another portrait of Antinous came out of its packing crate ready to be put on show, only for us to realise that somebody had kissed it in the packing room and it had lipstick on its cheek. This piece still today is one of our most popular casts because of his extraordinary story.